Chickadee check, y'all. Chickadee check. I'm not sure if this thing's working. If you guys can see me, give me a what. You guys see me on the other channel? Because I just got an alert that my stream has been shut down. It looks like I'm up. Yes? All right, cool. No intro needed. What's up, y'all? I'm having a existential crisis right now. Is that what they say? They call it? Like that guy said. Hang on. You know, sometimes you miss your kids when they're away and they come back. You're like, get the fuck out of here. That's where I'm at right now. But let's talk about what's going on today. Hi. If you know me, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Kenny. I've been trading since the womb. And since 2007, been running rooms, chat rooms, doing live trading. And by the way, if you heard the running joke of the industry right now, anybody on the internet that talks about the stock market says that they're the only ones on the internet, or the first and only one that shows their live trades or talks about live trading on the internet. No, it's me. I was first. I've been doing this to where it cost me $15,000 to build a website to go live. That's how old I am. Now you could just get on your phone and everything's free, and Discord and all that stuff. But we had to build a whole website with streaming and all this stuff, and just to show the screen. And then as we've morphed into the wonderful world of the internet, it's become a lot less. But what's my point? My point is I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've had some ups and downs, and it's been a crazy life. 30 years have gone by, right? I used to have hair and I used to be sane. Then again, that's debatable whether or not I was sane or not. But now I'm clinically off the rails. And today is a great example of the reason I'm talking about this is algorithmic trading meets what you think is going to happen. And as I've learned, thinking is overrated, especially when you're a day trader. You're reacting to what you see. You're not really speculating. There's a moment of speculation when you put your trade on. You're hoping it keeps going in the direction that you believe it's going in. But for us, we're not really speculating. We're more reactionary traders to what we believe is going to happen. And the reason I'm kind of upset with myself, and I'm talking about psychological damage, is that most reasons that most traders fail is something inside them psychologically. They're afraid to do something, or they're not afraid enough, or they don't have any discipline, or there's a laundry list of reasons that we fail. And normally it's not the trade. It's us. We do something wrong. And the less mistakes that we do as humans, the better of a trader you're going to be. Now, my mistake, and we usually all know what we do wrong: overtrade, revenge trade. My problem is a combination of that, revenging and overtrading. And I let my emotions get the best of me today, and I just did a trade without even looking at the chart. I just did old school momentum trade, and I did it angrily. So let me show you what I did. All right. So and again, it's a combination of the idea that I feel like I haven't made enough money on this monstrous bull market. that I feel like I should be putting size on. Now's not the time to be putting size on. The time to be putting size on was 2 months ago. And I know that. So it's a combination of a makeup trade and a revenge trade. So I feel like I got to go big to try to make up kind of revenge trading for the fact that I didn't do as well as I should have done. So this is one of those stocks, APLD, right? So, pre-market, the stock, I've made some money on it, but, again, it just happened to catch my eye this morning. It wasn't even on my watch list. It wasn't on the stocks that we were planning on trading. And that's what's a little bit more disappointing. And I just bought it because it was breaking the highs of the day. Normally I don't do that. And normally if I do that, again, breaking the highs of the pre-market session, that's me top ticking it like a champ, by the way. And again, what you do, if you do know me, you know me as sometimes I'm too honest. I've been running chat rooms my whole life. And sometimes when I talk about the negative trades, I used to have a few people that would, they would call me or email me and say, hey, maybe you should take it a little bit easy on yourself. I mean, you do help a lot of people and most of your trades do work. And as a matter of fact, and I have other people that said, maybe you shouldn't talk about your losses because you're supposed to be the guru in charge. You're infallible. I'm like, that is completely the opposite of what I do. I tend to harp on the negative and to drive it home, to remind me and remind my viewers and my subscribers, don't do these things. And yet here I am 30 years later, still doing dumb shit. So let's talk about it. So what was dumb about this? Okay, listen, when I bought it, I didn't feel like I was going to get my ass kicked. But normally if I'm buying a new high break, I expect the stock to pull back so I don't go all in on my entry. So what did I do here? I went all in. And I took my size up and went all in. So normally I'm nibbling 300-400 shares. Nah, this time I started with 3,000. And then wham. Before I knew it, I'm forced to sell the first 1,000. And now what's the saddest part about this trade today was this trade that you're looking at, friends, is a 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Normally I'm shorter here, covering here, and enjoying myself and giggling my ass off as I'm crushing the stock. This is a 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal. The trade that never fails. And I was on the other side of this trade. And that's how I started my day, getting my ass kicked. And this stock was so bad that I actually, usually when I sell out of a stock and I get my ass kicked, it comes immediately back and rubs it in my face. So I made a tragic mistake. This one, that's how bad it was. I actually wound up taking my beat down when it broke the orange line. That's me capitulating right there. And normally I'm getting out and then it bounces and rips. And to make matters worse, my next trade was the same kind of thing where I was like, oh man, this thing just faux show broed. Oh my God, it's breaking pre-market highs. So even though I know, and again, this is your fake out, shake out, breakout. Normally I'm a buyer at VWAP and I'm selling here and I'm selling here. That was me up there buying it, top ticking it like a champ because it broke pre-market highs. So two awful choices. And I'm on the other side of the trade that I'm always talking about how these trades never fail. But I was on the other side of them. And that's how I started my day. So it was kind of hard for me to shake off what I just did. And how do you shake off bad ideas and bad trades? Immediately go back to what works. And what works is FedEx long. So my friends, the trade that I talk about that works every single day, and I'm not fucking with you right here, right? This is a trade that I've been doing since 1997, okay? I perfected it, and I've been doing this my whole career. It's been a trade that has been working religiously. The gap down of the earnings report, looking for the shortest to cover, and gapped up stocks where you're looking for profit taking. So we only had a couple of choices today. I'll show you PayX and I'll show you FedEx, right? So FedEx, and here's part of the dementia that I had. Why am I not focusing on the number one trade of the day? Why was I focusing on those two stocks? Because I had shiny object syndrome, psychotic bullish breakdown this morning, all psychological problems. And when they say don't, say do what I do, not what I, or do what I say, not what I do. Luckily, for my members in the room, they had no idea I was getting my ass kicked on these two trades. We don't even mention them because I was sitting there silently getting my ass kicked. And as one person said, why are you not trading the FedEx? And I said to myself, I have no idea. I think I just might be psychologically damaged. And every once in a while that happens. But let's talk about it. So why is this trade so awesome? Why did my algorithm spit it out today? And again, what we're going to be doing here midday is kind of like the review meets live trading. And right now, coincidentally, we're short the Qs right now. I know you just said to yourself, are you out of your mind? Weren't you the guy that said the market's never going down? Yeah. And oddly enough, on Monday, we were shorting the market at that one moment. This is that moment again. I'll get to the FedEx trade, but I want to show you the one live trade we do have on. Now, again, I call this ironic shorting because today I came in, and again, I'm a bear, right? And I'm trapped in a bull market, a perpetual bull market. I've learned some lessons from me being bearish, that shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. But today I got to not just irrational exuberant, psychotically exuberant, beyond psychotic. And to me, that's almost like a negative indicator. When the bear guy goes completely 100 over, if it was over 100%, that's where I'm at. I came in, I had positions on. I'm not a position trader. I'm not a swing trader. I'm a day trader. I have a trade that works every time. I do that trade. I make money, and then I let other people. I'll let my father be the long-term investor. So my point is, right? What I do and what I do best is this trade, the FedEx, and I'm going to show you the PayX. And again, I have to talk about what I did wrong because that's how I get through it psychologically. I also like to express that, again, this game that we play here, and it's a game. We're living in a casino, and I've got the rigging. Right? So imagine this trade as if, and again, nothing's guaranteed, but these have been working just ridiculously well over the last, 30 years. And the reason I mentioned 30 years, the trade's been working for 30 years. Since I've been exclusively trading VWAP, it's been 2012. Since 2012, this trade's been working about 80% of the time. Over the last 3 years, not one has failed, which is insane. And you're probably thinking to yourself, and you should be thinking to yourself, well, then why the hell would you do anything else? Yeah, I'm asking myself that same question today, friends. But during my psychotic break from reality, and again, I love being bearish. It keeps me focused. And I understand why I'm bearish. I was born into it because I worked at the boiler rooms and the Wolf of Wall Street. And I was fed a bunch of bullshit as soon as I got into the industry. And then I learned about market makers and I became a day trader really quickly. I am the grandfather of the industry. I've been day trading since we coined the phrase circa late 1997, when there was only one system to trade on. It was SOS, and you had the market maker box. That's it. So a lot to unpack here, right? Just a little bit of history, why I'm doing what I do. So ironically, this trade, right? I came in today psychotically bullish. I had positions on. You know what I did? I dumped everything except for SRAD. I dumped everything. I had hood, and it starts to roll over. It hit the 85. The 85 was our target. We got done. I'm not going to not participate in a sell-off just because I'm, psychotically bullish. Because this trade right here on hood, this is what I talk about the market being rigged. All right. So the blue line, the orange line, it's all I trade. Right. Blue line is today's VWAP. Orange line is prior day VWAP. And this is a good indication. This is a great chart. I'm going to show you like 5 or 6 more charts before the day is over. But so the idea here, right? And again, this market there's been a reason to be psychotically bullish. We've been going up pretty much every day for 3 straight months since April 9th, and in the power gap on May 11th, it's hard not to be bullish. But once I find myself getting to the point of, it's almost like I'm the VIX. When I'm this bullish, I have to take a step back and I'm like, all right, you have now hit psychotic mode. You own 7 stocks and you're not thinking right. And today I was just like, yeah. And then my psychotically bullishness got the best of me on the APLD and the QS, right? But then I was like, all right, let's come back to reality. Let's go look at the portfolio. And the portfolio, we got out of 85 because that was our target on the hood. If you guys were swinging this with me, why 85? You know it, all-time highs. So stocks got to all-time highs. I don't know if you guys were in the hood trade with us, but it's been a long time coming. And I'm not going to get into the Andy Dufresne and the Kardashian bottom and the reasons we were buying hood for the last 2 years. But suffice it to say, there's the high print from the IPO day. That was our target for today. We got it. Now, let me explain what you're seeing here. So as I've progressed in my career, the trade that I found that works are gaps that roll. If you ain't fading, you ain't trading, right? But what VWAP has done for me and what it can do for you is whatever your idea is. And when I say thinking is overrated, you can have an idea, but don't trade the idea until it's validated by the VWAP. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to sell some hood because it's at 85. And as a bear, being long a stock, I'm looking for any reason to sell it. So you see where it kind of had this fake out, shake out, breakout. That I love this trade where you break a new low and you come back, break VWAP, and you start to go higher. But when you don't continue and you roll back over, that is really bearish. And this VWAP, see how it's testing it from underneath, and not able to break it? That's confirming that I'm right, that I should be selling. So not only did I sell my hood completely, I went short. And I didn't go short until it broke down. So, but all this choppiness and the VWAP is telling me that if it breaks the low of the day, what we have found by using this exclusively over the last, 13, 14 years now, is that if you break today's VWAP, you tend to gravitate back to prior day VWAP, which quite often acts as support. So you have why you're shorting it, blue line, and where you think it's going to go, orange line. We call it blue to orange. And the trade just continues to work. And that's why we're still long FedEx right now. And I hope you guys are long FedEx. And I'll get to the FedEx trade. But I wanted to show you, I want to talk, because if you guys know me this morning, you might have been like, isn't this the bear guy? He's just talking about, he has 9 positions on and all he's talking about is the market going higher. Well, I changed my tune. All right. So, and again, if we go red on the Qs today, I might stroke out right here in front of you guys because I'm short the Qs right now against every fiber. And I love shorting the Qs. I love shorting stocks, but it's been a painful trade. But now I'm just using my psychotic bullishness and I'm letting the charts validate me, right? So I'm short. I sold my hood and I got short. I made some money, right? But let me just show you the Qs one more time. This is what we're waiting for. So you see how very similar it is to the FedEx trade? Exactly. I mean, the hood trade? Exactly. This market's been all about momentum and short squeezes, fear and greed and price, right? When that rolls over, you get momentum to the downside. Now, again, what I'm hoping for is this: we can roll over, break the lows of the day. Because if we go through the orange line, we're on the verge of the first 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal the Qs have seen since basically April. And I need to be a part of it. And I joined in late. I'm a little nervous about being short, to be honest, right? Because it just doesn't work. But right now we're short the Qs again. And it did work last time we joined you. So I know I'm unpacking a lot for you guys, and this is why we're going to do this every day. But let me just keep going. So the FedEx trade, right? When I talk about a trade that works every time for the last 3 years, this is the one. So it's reversionary in nature, but it makes so much damn sense, and then it gets validated by the VWAP. So let's explain. Okay, let's explain. By the way, we're right there on the cues. Come on, baby. One time. One time. Come on. And again, I don't want to make this a live trading show, but again, here I am live trading. I am short the cues, and I'm still long the FedEx. But let me talk to you. Let me talk through the FedEx. I don't want to get excited about being short the cues right now. Shh. Let's pretend we're not short the cues now. Shh, we're not short the cues. Let's talk about this trade. Kenny, you just said this trade hasn't failed once in 3 years, and it's averaging a winning trade 80% of the time since 2012. Yes. Let's focus on that conversation. So when I come in, right, and again, psychotically bullish as I was this morning, do you think FedEx in a bull market from hell is going to stay down because they reported bad numbers? Nobody gives a shit about bad numbers in a bull market. Let's go. We're buying dips. So that's your thesis, right? That's your inkling. That's as far as thought. That's as far as your thought process goes, right? So you're thinking, all right, FedEx is getting beat on earnings, and let me show you yesterday's aftermarket action. So here's your two. I'm going to show you yesterday's market action. This was not a real print. We could get rid of that. So my trade that we do every day is this. And by the way, I didn't finish that thought about the rigging of the market. So I treat the market like it's a casino, and I've been doing much better with my trading since I've accepted the fact that it is all rigged and it is manipulated, and I should enjoy the rigging and the manipulation because I see it. So the way I look at it is as if you walked into the casino, and as soon as you get into the casino, you see one of the guys at the roulette table, the dealer. Now, even better, the pit boss at the roulette table. Hey, you with the shirt. Me? Yeah, you with the shirt. I like that shirt. Come here for a second. For the next half an hour, only the number 36 and 12 are going to hit. Okay. And then the pit boss, because I'm stupid, he said, so you know what to do, right? Bet 12 and 36? Yeah, you idiot. Oh, okay. That's how this trade is. It's giving you an advantage. And sometimes it's a temporary advantage, like the pit boss just said. For the next half an hour, these two numbers are going to hit. Do something about it. And that's what this trade's all about. So let's go back to the thought process. FedEx reported numbers in a bull market, and the stock's getting hammered. Your first thought is, good. I can't wait to buy it. Then your next thought process is, I still need validation and proof that my inkling or my thesis or this trade that I believe I'm going to take tomorrow is going to work. And what is that validation and that proof and that gentle nudge in that direction? It's VWAP. So this morning, we came in and we said, oh, look at FedEx. It's still down. Good. And the first thing you'll see is this is pre-markets, right? So pre-market, what I do is I take yesterday's lows and I take note. That's that red line. Then I took the pre-market lows and I drew another line right there. And that's the VWAP. So the VWAP starts to form early on. It's not as significant because there's not as much volume. But as we progress till 7 o'clock, here comes some volume, and then you spiked above VWAP. Not a lot of volume, but you see how it's showing you that the buyers are in control because you're staying above VWAP. And then the shorters are like, all right, I'm going to start covering my short, or maybe the dollar cost averaging people. And again, that's why this trade works. Remember, if somebody came in short FedEx, what are they going to do? They're going to take profit. So that's buying. The dollar cost averaging people who like the stock going forward are taking advantage of the dip because they think the stock's going higher. That's buying. You have algorithms that buy at VWAP. That's buying. So chances are there's going to be some buying on FedEx today. But yet, that's still your idea, your thinking, your inkling, or your notion, or your idea. And your idea works. Woohoo! Right? Pre-market. Let's go. You're a buyer testing VWAP, testing VWAP, testing VWAP. You're already being convinced. So we bought it as it broke the pre-market highs at 218.75, and woo, we got paid. I should have quit while I was ahead this morning, because my first trade of the day was, a measly 200 shares. You're making $400 on this trade. Now, on the way down, I sold my last 50 shares because one of my rules is I don't hold stocks into the open. Why? Because the volatility on the 9:30 open is something that it's very hard and almost impossible to determine what's going to happen. So we get out. But now we say to ourselves that, okay, cool, that worked. Maybe we get a chance to buy it again. Yes. But now, as I instruct my new VWAPian friends, that's what we call ourselves, by the way, VWAPians, we're a group of people with like-minded goals and desires and hopes and dreams, the VWAPians. And we're so luckily we sold at high, sold the rest on the way down. No one's that good to sell the whole thing right there, because we never, here we're thinking we're going to the orange line. But then it rolls over. And the person that didn't trade it in the pre-market saying, oh, look at this, I get a chance to partake in the trade that Kenny was just talking about, maybe even at a better price. Yes, even at a better price. So what you're witnessing here, right, is the faux show bro, VWAP break on an earnings report, blue line to orange line trade, the trade that hasn't failed since not one has failed 3 years now. And now we're over 3 years, so it's about 3.5 years. So your job is to focus on earnings reports, focus on the stocks that I give each morning, because I know which stocks are in play. It was PayX, it was FedEx, it was BlackBerry. BlackBerry, remember that one? Yeah. NVTS, ASTS. I'll get to all of them. We got time. So look at this lovely trade. And if you guys met me on Monday, we talked about what do you need to want to put a trade on? Why am I buying it? What am I doing if I'm wrong? And where do I think it's going? Zoop! It's all right there. So you have the idea, I'm buying gap down stocks that report earnings in a bull market. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. When are you buying it? When it confirms a faux show bro back above VWAP. Did you get that? Let me show you what it looks like. Now, again, let's assume you were the first faux show bro buyer. Now, what the hell is the faux show bro? Did you just ask that guy in the back? Let me show you. When a stock breaks VWAP and then it tries to come back and then it rolls back over and makes a new low, then still comes back and then tests that low. It's a fake out, shake out, fake out, faux, shake out is the show part. And then back above the VWAP is generally the bro. Now, you see how the market did a combination of things here. So we're buying right here, right? So we're buying right here. So let's define the trade. You're a buyer at 217.75. Your fake out, shakeout area is one of your stops. Now, what are those other two red lines? Yes, the pre-market lows from today and way back last night at 215.36. So that is how you identify your risk, right? And you want trades to have risk reward in your favor, which every one of my trades that I put on always has risk reward in my favor. I'm risking X to want to make more. Let's forget the Let's forget about the QS trade and the APLD trade, because those weren't these trades. That was just me being stupid this morning, and I paid for it dearly. This trade. So here it is again. Let me go back. So you see when we bought it here and it starts to rally. If you're a buyer at 217.75 and your stock's at 219.75, what do you think you should be doing there? You should be selling some. You know, again, it was a measly trade, 300 shares. Sell 50 shares, sell 100. And then it comes back to VWAP and starts chopping around. Now, we did sell. Not all of it. But I don't like the fact that it came back to the VWAP. That felt very capitulatory right there. That was a nasty candle right in our face. So at VWAP, we were like, maybe this thing's about to roll over. So we sold a little bit more, right? But still with a slight profit. But then remember, our next stops are here, here, and here. Did it go down there? Absolutely not. And in this move where we actually sold some, became a new fake out. You see how it broke slightly lower, then it came back? Faux show bro. So even if you missed the first faux show bro and buying it here, this move right here, as if you remember from Monday, we call it the VWAP jiggle or the shuffle, kind of re-energizing itself. And then look at that candle. That's everybody who made the mistake by selling it here, buying it right back. And the shorts are saying, we best be getting out of this. And then that move became the follow through. Now, why is that red line up here? And by the way, this is what I do live every day, all day, and I never stop. So why is that red line up there? Because when stocks tend to start trending higher, they search for their old friends from whence the stock had come from before. And what price was that, my friend? Say it. Half number, whole number, 221.50. Look where we got, 221.50. Sold, right? So now we sold here, and we used the breakout price as our out on the rest, knowing that we're above the VWAP and we're trending higher, knowing that more often than not, especially over the last 3 years, the market will then gravitate to the prior day VWAP, the orange line. Right? Now, here's where this trade got real awesome. I just spoiled the surprise for you, right? So you're a seller some, you're a seller of a little bit more here. You know, usually blue line or orange line, we're done with 75% of it. So let's say you got 25% left. Your stop was areas from where significant things happened before. Look at that significance. And now I want to stretch this chart out just a little bit. You see that price? 221.56. You know what our stop was? Say it. What was our stop? Not 221.56. Sorry, I didn't draw the line at the right spot. Our stop was where we had pivoted earlier. That's 6 cents. And this is why I trade price exclusively. That's 6 cents on a $221 stock kept me in this trade to enjoy the next leg up. And this is why we're still long the FedEx. Now, want to see some cool magic? Watch this. So what you're looking at here, friends, is the 1 minute multi-day. That's prior day. What we've developed after careful analysis of VWAP and all of its beauty and splendor, we've developed a code that will now give us multiple time frame VWAPs with a click of a button. So our next target was 224.69. Wham! Now 3 days worth of VWAP, 224.91. Woohoo! And look where we're hovering. Now that's our new support. Now we're above that. We look at 4 days worth of VWAP. Not really helping us. Now take a look at 5 days. Not really helping us. But when a stock, and this is why I love this trade, when a stock comes down hard on an earnings report, its prior day VWAPs are going to be above where we're at because it's taking the data from those prior 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days worth of days. 5, 10, 15, 20, as many days as you want. We program it to go. So from 5, I look at looking at 10 days worth of data. And as you see, we're getting above the 10-day now, and we're in this candle, right? So now I look at maybe 15 days worth of data. We're above that. And now you're seeing the whole picture. So when VWAP and prior day VWAP aren't helping you and you're still in a wonderful trade, that's when you just go back to price, right? So look at the candles that we're in now. Look at these, these monstrous candles. These were reactionary candles from last night. We're in these candles now. So when you get into these bigger candles, you tend to search for significant prices in these candles. And the next significant price is 229.50. Now, am I saying the stock's going to go up 4 more points from here? I hope so. But here's how you stay a viable trader after 30 years. Hope ain't a trading strategy, and neither is faith. They're just 2 strippers that my buddy was hanging with last night. What? Hope and faith are not trading strategies. So now look at this beautiful chart. So now you say to yourself, and by the way, the Q's just hit lows. By the way, what you say to yourself on this trade is now, remember when I said these trades have been working and providing winning trades almost every time they show up. That doesn't mean that this stock can't drop 12 points out of nowhere today. Are you going to let it drop 12 points with you still being in it? No. So I don't want to use strong language here, but the lay investor, right? Some people think you're just going to buy here and the stock's going to go up all day. Buy at 9:30, sell at 4, right? That's all we got to do, right? No. But what these multiple time frame VWAPs and the style that we trade prevents from happening is allowing a trade to go from a winner to a loser. So as we've sold into this move, and like I said, we're down to 25%, the last 25% of the stock. Sure, we'd love to see it go to 229, but what do you think our stop is? It's right there. So now, as we trade algorithmically, right, it's all if-then statements. If it breaks 224, then you sell what you got left. If it's above 224, you're thinking 227.50 and then 229. Now I threw a curveball at you right there. Why 227.50? Because that's how the market works. 225 generally gets you 227.50 first, because they still run in 2.5 point increments. If you guys know about options, it's generally how the market still works. So that's what we're looking at right now. And again, it's a very boring trade, but it works basically every time it shows up. And let's go FedEx. And if you guys are still along, you guys exactly know what you're doing. You see how it pulled back and held to 24? The only place we're selling the stock, and I'm talking about for life, you'll be strapping in right now with that last 20% right now. And that's how I swing trade. See, swing trading has never been my thing. You know why? Because I was really bad at it. You know what a swing trade to me was? I'd be in a day trade. I probably should be selling it. I'm losing money. And next thing you know, it's 4 o'clock. Well, I guess I'm swinging this one. I'm a swing trader now. That's how it usually works, right? Swing trading, right? It's a bad day trade or a bad trade that you probably should be out of, and you decided to hold it because you didn't want to take the loss or you're just being stubborn. Welcome to swing trading. On the other hand, I don't like swing trading. So when I'm going to swing trade, if I choose it, it usually comes out of a good day trade, like our pal ASTS. What's up? By the way, I cashed out of a majority of it today. We still got it. I'm not giving up unless this thing breaks 47.50. But this trade started, coming out of the faux show bro, multiple time frame VWAP break, new high break. So the day trade became the swing, kind of like how SRAD is. The day trade, back when I bought it during the Trump candle, and I was like, ooh, what's this company all about? Your day trade's working really well. You know what? I'll hang on to a couple of hundred shares of this thing, just like every other one of my trades. And the hood, the hood started out. And by the way, I dumped the hood today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of the hood. I was hoping it was going to roll over. But that's how swing trades start for me. That's how you should start. You know, a day trade that's going well, and it's going well right into the close. So you're like, all right, maybe I'll hang on to it for the next couple of days. And in this market, you've been rewarded, you know, in some of my swings. Again, if you guys were in some of these, again, I don't like the action today on sale. Very disappointing. We got to 25, 22.50 got us 25. But you see how this is a 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal? I should be shorting the shit out of this. But my swing trading, and my belief that it was going to go higher, I chose not to short it. You see, that's why I like being bearish, because I know blow-off tops come out of nowhere, especially on stocks that I own. And look how it hit. I was 5 cents away from selling 100 shares, and I saw it break in VWAP. It tests the multi-day. And by the way, this is a beautiful trade, 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Trade that never fails. So let's show you again on the PayX. Oh my freaking God. Right? Look at this. Has anybody traded PayX? I didn't even know this company was still public. And somebody brought it to my attention this morning, right? And look at this. I mean, this is just, again, let's recap mentality and strategy. So PayX, why are we looking at it? They reported numbers. What are we looking to do? We're looking to short it. Why? Because it's gapped up. I don't care what the numbers were. I don't care who's bullish or bearish. I don't care about analyst opinion. Is it gapped up on earnings? I'm looking to fade it. Just like FedEx, gap down on earnings, I'm looking to buy it. VWAP, please confirm my idea. And by the way, I don't want to give you another live trade right here, but I can't fucking believe I'm going to say this. SRM just came across I should have mentioned it 25 seconds ago, but this dumb stock, this is so weird, because this was we were in slide last time. But this SRM, and I'm mortified right now, absolutely mortified. I should have mentioned this 2 seconds ago when it held the pivot point, and now you're back to 8. Don't get overly excited, but this is one of those stocks where my bearishness, right? It helps me on these trades, because when stocks that I'm pretty sure this is a pump and dump, but when they keep coming back, and I get a saying for everything, if it doesn't want to die, it's a buy. And this little piece of shit keeps coming back. This is that wannabe MSTR stock. So very interesting. And here it goes. I mean, it just held the VWAP. And again, here's the faux show bro, right? And this is what I'm saying, my friends. If you're just meeting me, come to the website every day, and you will start to see how monotonous and repetitious and redundant this is. My son's been trading me for 6 days. He said yesterday at the dinner table, he's like, Dad, do you know that you say the same thing every single day? You tell the same stories every single day, even the same anecdotes. Yes, I know. I'm a robot. And that's what I love, meeting new people, because some of you guys out there haven't heard dumb stories, especially the one about my wife and the face. My wife can tell every trade that I've done just by the dumb look on my face. I'll come out of the room. You know, I'm in the room. The dining room's outside. I'll come out of the room. Oh, wait. Kids, gather around. That's the face. Wait, so you bought a stock, you sold all of it at one price, and it kept going up without you, right? Yes. Yeah. And she knows everything. And then I say, and then she rubs it in. She's like, so why didn't you buy? Oh, she says, did you think it was going to go higher after you sold it? Yes. And then why didn't you buy it back? I was being stubborn. Stop making sense. So yeah, she knows by the look at my face every trade I've ever done. So again, this trade, normally I would be in this thing loaded up, kicking ass with you right now. And if you guys just bought it, and this is why I'm saying this trade that we do here, the faux show bro VWAP tests to the orange line. Thank you very much for working right here as I'm doing it live. And I would normally be in 3,000 shares of the stock right here. See, as it tested the VWAP and then comes back right off it, you're a buyer. Now you've got limited risk for a reward waiting here. So you've got, at 770, by the way, it's ripping now. Let's go. 770 with basically an 11-cent risk to possibly making 50 cents. 11-cent risk to possibly make 50, and obviously you just made about 70. And if you guys that did this trade, thank you very much. At least I get to live vicariously through you. And if you guys are in this trade, please, for the love of God, sell some right here. Seriously. So now that you spiked above prior day VWAP, now we look at the 2-day. Hang on. The 2-day is saying this thing could rip all the way to 985. I don't know about that, but you got to factor it in. But what you also have to do is remember, this stock just came from 770, got to 820. You sell. Anything above 820 is icing on the cake. And then you use 820 and the 790, the price it went green as your outs. And la-di-da, another winning trade. So let's go talk about the PayX, and I'll show you the anatomy of this trade. And if you guys just bought SRM, good job. Now, if the fucking Qs would just go down 2 or 3 points right now, it would be a perfect day. Maybe I can make some of this APLD money back. Ugh. All right. Stay focused. So let's talk about PayX, right? Let's look at the headline first. Let's see. PayX. I don't know, just a bunch of numbers, right? I know that means anything. I look for, all right, profit declines. So there's a negative word. Earnings rise, profits decline. Company reported worse than expected. All right, so you had some negative headlines out there, but the stock was, up pretty big this morning. And then reality sets in, 1-minute multi-day VWAP to the downside. But more importantly, I missed this trade. Like I said, I was too busy getting my ass kicked on QS and APLD to take advantage of this wonderful trade. But what I did take advantage of was this move right here. So this is just basically going back to old school trading price. Oh my God. Is this actually happening, people? Are you guys still short the Qs with me right now? I mean, this is actually happening. Honey, we're short the Qs again. Is it? I don't want to get excited because it's not going to last. But we're short the Qs right now, and it's working. And we're long FedEx. So this is a unique. And if you bought SRM just now, look at us. We're all making money together again. What do you know? All right, so let me talk about this PayX trade, right? So when you miss a trade, your classic 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal, the trade that never fails, you also have to take into consideration that once you get under the VWAP, stocks will tend to gravitate or revert back to them at some point of the day, right? At some point. You don't know when, but when you're hanging with me and my crew, we're all about risk reward and taking it where it's in our favor. So when this thing broke under 140, I was telling you, hey, you're probably going to 137.50. And here's a little capitulation candle right through the 137.50. But then what are we seeing here? A little faux show. So you buy right here. Faux show. And now again, it doesn't mean it's going to work. But when something has been working this consistently for this long a period of time, keep taking the trade where the risk reward is in your favor on a trade that tends to work. Now, again, this is just the reversionary trade. The VWAP's up here. The full-blown reversal would have been if it broke the VWAP and starts ripping back to 145. Obviously, the rest of the story here because you can see the chart. But our trade, right, was here. Risk reward. So we're buying 138.25. And here you had a double bottom at 137.20. So what I do in this case, and I never sell anything all at one price. When I'm flirting with lows of the day, that's my out. So there's no way in hell I'm letting this thing break 137.20. So that would be a hard out. So again, over $100, what am I doing? I'm buying 300 shares. I don't go nuts, right? 300 shares at 138.20. What am I doing right here? 139. I'm selling 50 shares because I like taking money. What am I doing here at 140? We got to the VWAP. I'm selling another 200 shares. So now I got 50 shares left, and I'm letting it breathe. I'm letting it breathe. And Let me just make sure I still got it because I think I should still be in this trade. Yeah, I still got 50 shares. And where do you think my stop is? It's coming close to it. So where it pivoted before, and I'm probably getting stopped out. I probably shouldn't have mentioned this, but I'm about we're about 10 cents away from getting out of that last 50 shares. So, but again, not a bad trade. And if anybody tells you they're buying lows and selling the highs, nobody's that good. Nobody. But you try to make the meet in the middle, sell a majority of what you got, put the stop on the rest, and then you hope, just like this FedEx trade, right? So FedEx, right? It's coming. They're coming for us, baby. They're coming for us. But we're still in because now our stop, again, I could adjust it right now. Normally I'll adjust as it tells. Right now my stop is at 223.99. I put it 1 cent below the whole number. So now VWAP's 224.02. I could go right to that price. We're talking about 3 cents on a $220 stock. I'm not overly concerned. But this is how you trade. You're still long FedEx because it hasn't violated the price, and we're still in. And like the PayX, which is basically just came to an end right there. Done. Now let's talk about the other trade that we got live. And by the way, did anybody buy SRM just now? Fan-fucking-tastic. Good stuff. Right? Now look at that. All right? Now, you covered some, right? I can only promise blue to orange, which is a good enough day right now, right? I didn't think the Q short was going to work at all. And again, it took me a lot of courage to finally short it because I should have been shorting here. I wound up shorting when it broke the lows of the day. And my target, look how, and again, remember before we got to the orange line about when I first started talking about this a half an hour ago? That's why you cover at orange line because quite often that's the end of the trade. You get to today's VWAP, prior day VWAP's access support, usually that's the end of the trade. But now that we've covered some at prior day VWAP, we've locked in the profit. Now you lower your stop. I'm not going to let it go to break even. I go to the bottom where the bottom and the tops of these numbers have hit. So now I say to myself, I can't believe we actually made money shorting the Qs. It's not going to last. It already hit prior day VWAP. It's probably over. I'll let the last lot breathe to where it tried to rally before. So that's 540.78. Let's go 82 if you guys remember fractions. 7/8. Actually, 7/8 is 87. But yeah, 87. Let's go 87. We'll go 540 and 7/8. I'm so old, I remember eighths of a point. So 540.78. If anybody is still short the Qs with me, and I hope you are, you covered some because we got to the orange line. Now, here's what I want to show you. So now we go take a look at 2 days worth of VWAP. Do you really think the Qs are going to 535.32? No, I don't. I don't think they're going to go because shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. But because it's on the chart, I have to let it tell me it's not going there. So now go back to if then. So if above 540.87, you're out. If not, you're still in, waiting to see what happens next. And that's trading, baby. That's trading. Like SRM, if your risk tolerance was you could be done. If you bought the stock on the break of the 790 and you got paid 820, 840, and now you're done. Walk away. Remember, it's a casino. You just hit on 12. Boom. Take the money. Wait for the pit boss to tell you the coast is clear again, right? So now we're almost done, right? All we got left is a little bit of QQQ short. And man, I would love to see this thing go red because that would be amazing. If the Qs go red, that would be a blow off top at all-time highs. Sorry, I'm having a moment to myself right there. That would be awesome if it does happen because I don't want to go crazy now, but if we do close red across the board today, I know we may actually go down tomorrow too. What? No. Yes. So it's important right now. So if this market does, again, that's how blow off tops form. Brand new high, sell off, and then usually you follow through if you weren't in this perpetual bull market from hell. So this is a big next 4 hours, because if the market does sell off today and stay red into the close, that's officially a blow off top. And I would go out on the limb. I know this sounds nuts, but the market may actually go down tomorrow. And that's a big if, because we're still green on the Qs. So let's not get crazy. Now, I know I only have 5 minutes left, and I'm going to boogie this time. I went on a little bit too long. Does anybody have a stock that you want me to look at right now? Because I just want to show you, I'm not cherry picking here. This VWAP works on basically every trade. You're dealing with some illiquid bullshit name with 22,000 shares on it. Nah, probably not the best. First stock I see, CCL. By the way, I watched that documentary on the cruise yesterday. Oh, God, that was nasty. So CCL, just a choppy bunch of nothing right here. But you got to be short, because it keeps failing and failing and failing. And the only time I would cover this short is if it broke above these two levels. So again, just absolute dog shit right here. Just nothing going on. But if you are short, at this point, you got to think you're about to roll over and test the lows. The stock's kind of in limbo. But VWAP's telling you that if you are short, you're on the right side. What else you got? Anybody else got something? Just throw them out at me. Anyone? Anyone? Going once? Bueller? You? Guy in the back? I don't see the other chat room. Hold on. Let me see if I get the other one. SRPT. Like that name. Blatant short, easy today, right? The faux show, you got the fake out shakeout, and you spiked above VWAP, but then you promptly rolled over and broke. And after you broke, tested it from underneath, tested from underneath, tested from underneath, tested from underneath. You need to be out of this name, and you need to be short, right? And hopefully you guys were on the right side of this one. This is a blatant short. Now, again, when you're below the 1 minute and the multi-day, what do? Go to price. Look where it broke down from. So if you're shorting this stock and you want to put some tight stops on, right there, 1765, or you're thinking 17 right now. GitLab. Ooh, I haven't seen that one in a while. GTLB. Wonderful, right? Big fat half number right there. Little Chaparuski, right? Triple bottom, VWAP test from underneath, breaks a triple bottom, down to prior day VWAP, below prior day VWAP. Hopefully this is another short that you're in. And I would not be covering any of this unless it broke over the 5250 and the 5270. Sorry, 4250 and the 4272. AMD for the faux show, bro. You had a faux show, bro, this morning. Yeah. Oh, by the way, before we go any further, NVTS, right? Our algorithm. And this is why I love this algo. I'm long this stock. I like it. I still think it's going higher, but the algo shorted the shit out of it today, right? And look how beautiful short it was. It hits a big fat whole number, $7.99, $8, same thing. Rolls over, breaks VWAP, back to the prior day VWAP access support. And then prior day VWAP access support, back to the VWAP. This stock's phenomenal to trade, by the way. I just wanted to show you that one more time. And again, this flies in the face of my swing trade, because I'm still long this stock. Meanwhile, everything's telling me to short it today. All right, we got one more minute, and because I'm going to cut out of here on time this time. I know you guys got things to do. Here's Hasbro, absolute short. Look at it. This one tried to stay above VWAP, but in this case, the prior day VWAP's telling you, nah. We got nothing for you up here. Sell it. And then even on that attempt to rally, short-lived rally, rolls over, super bearish. So when you see, and you're seeing these right, again, these little mini VWAP breaks, the better trade like the FedEx did, right? Is when you come back above the VWAP and then you test it from on top and hold it, that's when you know you're onto something. And by the way, we're getting ready to sell this FedEx, again, still in it. 224.02 is the stop now. And it's 1 o'clock. So I'm just going to cut it off right there. So thanks for stopping in. By the way, I'm never stop talking. So this is what we do every day. And I've been doing this every day pretty much my whole life. And what is wonderful about the way we trade right now is it's the same day every day. And the more you start to see these trades, 1 minute multi-day VWAP trades, earnings reports, stocks that are in the news, I know which stocks to watch every day. I send out the list every day. I know which ones are going to be the ones that are in play. It's all about volume. It's all about people that, the more volume, the more better. And then you'll start seeing how this trade is like me being the pit boss, calling you over, telling you which two numbers are going to hit. And if you stay focused, stick with the ideas that you should be, not like me veering off the fucking road today and crashing my car, um, you'll be all right. And again, the less dumb things you do, and I'm the king of dumb things, the less dumb things you do, the better off you will be. All right? Cheers, my friends. Good seeing you. I'll see you in the room.